What's up, YouTube? This is Dragon, and look, after this battle, I really am not on the fence anymore debating whether or not Mega Gengar should be Uber, because after what you're about to see and the things that I could have done, you'll see that Mega Gengar really deserves to be Uber. Judging by the first Pokemon that he had on his team, I knew that my Greninja would have been the best choice for me to send out first, which is what I do. And so he sends out his Gengar. Now, I know that he's either going to Mega Evolve or Switch, but I U-turn, no, I don't U-turn, I use Waterfall because I know that I can do some significant damage on the Gengar, and then at the very least, Aqua Jet it in the return. So I Waterfall him, and he switches out into his Snorlax, and now I use U-turn because I obviously don't want to be body slammed, and I don't want to deal with the Snorlax by having my Greninja on the field. So I U-turn, and now I go over into my Rotom because it's my physical Rotom, and it'll be able to take on whatever that Snorlax will do, but it's using Curse. And now at this point, I know this is a Curse Lax, and I want to do something. Well, I use Overheat because I'm hoping that I can kill it, and I'm hoping that it's the immunity set. But as you can see, it takes a crit like a boss, and with this crit doing that little bit amount of damage, then it is obviously the thick fat set. So now that I know it's going to be using the Curse and the Resto Chesto and all this other stuff, I at the very least burn it. Because, look, I mean, what am I going to do if he's got +2 now, +2, so I have to do something before it's too late. So I burn him so that I can easily switch into my Azumarill so that I don't take a huge chunk of damage and just watch him decimate my whole team. So my Azumarill, I don't really see many Azumarills with this move, but it's superpower, and I think it's very important for Azumarill to have superpower because one, a lot of Ferrothorns don't really expect it because they feel that, I mean, I really don't. Maybe it's because of the whole play rough thing and people feel that they don't need superpower like they used to, but I mean, superpower works well. As you can see in this situation, it's working amazingly. Like, I mean, I could have been swept, but I'm able to take on this Snorlax and retaliate with the superpower. So I'm good to go right now. And now I'm in the clear. Now here is when things get really interesting. Now my Azumarill is choice banded, so I'm gonna have to switch. Now I was debating whether I would switch into my Rotom or my Greninja, but the Greninja wasn't really the best choice because a lot of Mega Gengars have the Energy Ball, and I didn't want to get hit by that. Like, you saw what happened to my Quagsire in the other episode where you saw Mega Gengar. So now he uses Parasong. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? First of all, he went to a substitute. Now, I've never really seen that before. Like, Mega Gengar and a substitute, I don't even know how to feel about that. So now he's just using substitute repetitively, and I'm like, okay, so is he going to use Pain Split later on? Like, what exactly is the point of this? Because, I mean, if he does use Pain Split somewhere in the interim and then gets all his health back, then I could see the purpose. But he uses Destiny Bond, so I'm like, okay, so he just kind of, like, his 3 moves right now are Destiny Bond, Parasong, and Substitute. So I'm going to presume that his last move is Shadow Ball, but I don't understand what the purpose of this Mega Gengar is. I really don't. I'm at a complete loss because he could have just straight up killed me. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But the point of me showing this is that right now I could have easily switched in when he was using Destiny Bond all in between. I could have switched into my Greninja right now, and presuming that he didn't have any Energy Ball, I could have just waterfalled him straight away and not worry about what this Scizor is going to do, which of course is the Swords Dance. And now this is a Scizor with +2, and even though I do resist the Bullet Punch, he's still going to kill me because Greninja has weak defenses, and my Greninja is unfortunately going to die. So now I send in my Azumarill, and of course, Azumarill can't really get off the Aqua Jet because it is slower, very unfortunately, and my Azumarill dies. That right there is a great example of why Mega Gengar is Uber. Because, I mean, that was almost like a troll Mega Gengar. But it still had some sort of advantage. But I could have switched in easily. Heck, if I didn't have to worry about his Mega Gengar, I probably would have had Blissey or something as a substitute. But I was thinking about that Pokemon so much and how it could trap me. But hey, it was a decent battle nonetheless. Now this battle, this is one of the closest matches I've ever had. You're going to see Greninja and Tyranitar really duke it out to see who's going to come out on top. Judging by the Pokemon my opponent had on his team, I knew he was most likely going to lead off with his Tyranitar, and of course that he did. And me, knowing this, I have my Greninja come out first, being able to either U-turn or Waterfall, depending on the situation. Of course, in this situation, I was fearing the Azumarill switch-in, so I do the safest play and U-turn. And since Greninja is a hit-and-run Pokemon, U-turn would have been the best play, irregardless. So I U-turn, and now I switch into my own Azumarill, and thankfully popping the air balloon that this Azumarill has. Now, in any sense, because of the Pokemon I have on my team, it wouldn't really have mattered about the air balloon, but I mean, it kind of discourages my opponent nonetheless. So now this is Azumarill versus Azumarill, and I'm always prepared for this situation, so I put a lot of speed EVs into my Azumarill so that I could always outspeed all the time. This happens a lot, Azumarill versus Azumarill, and so far I have a 100% win streak in that situation. Now, I am kind of worried about whether this is Charizard X or Y, I don't know. So I make I guess you can say a safe play, and then I go into my Blissey just in case, because I don't want to immediately switch into my Greninja and then take a Solar Beam. But then of course, if it's Charizard X like it's now, I also don't want to just take a physical attack. So now my Blissey's out, and I do something a little bit silly. I stay in Intoxicate. Now the best play that I could have done in this situation would have been to switch right back into Azumarill, because now I run the risk of taking a +1 Dragon Dance Earthquake in either my Azumarill or my Blissey, and he's going to use Dragon Claw at this point. I kind of predicted that he was going to use Dragon Claw, but I was going to switch into my Azumarill just in case, but I didn't really want to make an unnecessary prediction, because then I would have just lost straight away, and this Charizard X would have swept my team, which would have been kind of silly, really. So he Dragon Claws it as I predicted, and now I switch into my Azumarill, because now I have the safe switch in, and I'll be able to take at least one +1 Earthquake and have no worries about that. So now he Earthquakes me, and my Azumarill takes it pretty well, and I hit the play rough, 90% accuracy. I know how much I hit it when I miss it. Luckily I hit it this time, and that Charizard is destroyed. Now this is very interesting, and this is when I start to see a turn in the match. This Tyranitar is scarfed, alright? My Azumarill is pretty decently fast, and no, there's no Tyranitar that's going to be outspeeding my Azumarill any day. So he's not fast enough to outspeed my Greninja. So I get the Waterfall off, and I do much more than half, and I lose some HP because of my Life Orb. Now he Earthquakes me, and I'm like, alright, oh no, I lost this too much. Oh, but then I barely live with the Earthquake, with the Sandstorm, and I get off one more Waterfall, enabling myself to take out this Tyranitar and finish the game. And yes, that is a double down, and whoever faints first loses, and I win by the skin of my teeth. Now that was a good game. One of the best games I've ever played, fighting against another opponent in the Battle Spot Showdown. Hopefully I could find some more opponents like this. I mean, really, this was one of the most entertaining battles I've ever had in a very long time. But you know what? It's inevitable. There's many powerful trainers out there, and we're going to see them all on the Battle Spot Showdown. Well, see ya.